Thanks for joining us on Nationwide today on the network service of the NTA. I'm Elizabeth Omori. President Muhammadu Buhari says his administration's genuine commitment to the provision of critical infrastructure on a sustainable basis is not only deliberate but most desirable towards achieving a prosperous future for the country. The president stated this while receiving in audience Team Kaduna on a thank you visit. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports.
Team Kaduna, comprising the National and State Assembly members, ministers, traditional rulers, and senior officials of the state government, was led to the State House by Deputy Governor Hadiza Sabuwa Balarabe. The high-power delegation is here to express formal appreciation to President Muhammadu Buhari for visiting the state last month and inaugurating various projects under the state's urban renewal program across the three major cities of Kaduna, Kafanchang, and Zaria. While assuring the president that the El Rufai administration will complete its tenure as strongly as it started, Deputy Governor Hadiza Balarabe announced that several other projects at various stages of completion will be ready for inauguration in May this year.
We therefore wish to humbly invite Mr. President to pay another working visit to Kaduna State in May to commission the Raba to the Western Bypass and onto the Regasi train station route, the Kabala Costain to Barnaha route, and the Shehu Laminu to Ramat route in Ungwarimi, amongst others. Some investment projects undertaken by our private sector partners will also be presented for commissioning, including the Dangote Peugeot Vehicle Assembly Plant, Arma Medicals and Manufacturing Limited, and the African Natural Resources Iron Mining and Steel Plant.
The Dangote Peugeot in particular, which has Kaduna and Kebbi state governments as minority but committed stakeholders, is designed to be the largest vehicle assembly plant in Nigeria that will produce trucks, SUVs, saloon cars, trailers, and pickup vans along Kaduna-Abuja road.
We'll be honored to receive you again in the state to commission these legacy projects, which are by extension the legacy of your administration. All the accomplishments wouldn't have been possible without the support we always receive from the center, from Mr. President and his team.
I have already ranked the governor and thanked him for the impression he created of performance.
President Muhammadu Buhari had during the visit applauded the El Rufai administration for its consistent efforts at developing Kaduna, seeking progress on many fronts and confronting challenges boldly. He re-echoed this to the Team Kaduna delegation.
Deputy Governor, please pass my gratitude to His Excellency, the Governor, for doing so well, virtually in the city senatorial district of Kaduna State. I have been living in Kaduna since I removed my uniform, but now I need a map and a compass to go around Kaduna.
The president used the opportunity to give reasons for his administration's sincere focus on addressing the critical infrastructure deficit inherited on coming to power in 2015.
I was constrained to go public several times to appeal to Nigerians to appreciate the efforts of this administration. Because between Lagos and Ibadan, by now, if we hadn't done what we have done, people would have to be walking because the rail wasn't there, the road was not there, and there was so much insecurity. Which country can advance without infrastructure, road, rail, and power? The job is not going as fast as we wanted, but it will be done. It's being done.
President Buhari formally received a letter of invitation to revisit Kaduna in May this year for the inauguration of more urban renewal projects. From the State House, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
In talking transportation, the concept of the Kano station of Kano-Kaduna rail line under construction is to be expanded in order to accommodate projected millions of passengers. Minister of Transportation Chibike Rotimi Amechi made this known when he received the Kano State Governor Abdullahi Umar Ganduje in Abuja. Oinaya Kaloka reports.
The federal government is executing 3 major projects in Kano State: the Kano-Maradi Rail Line, the Kano-Kaduna Rail Line, and the Kano Inland Dry Ports. Receiving the governor, Minister of Transportation Chibike Rotimi Amechi said Kano State is expected to house the biggest rail station in the country. He asked for more land in order to expand the Kano station.
Kano State government to give us land where we will build the biggest station in Nigeria. It is the biggest station because we are combining 2 rail lines. The first one is the Kano-Maradi, which will empty in Kano, and then the second one is the Kano-Kaduna, which will also empty in Kano. And don't forget that the station we are building in Kano, we are at the end of the day build the station that will take passengers from Lagos to Kano. So if you combine Kano-Maradi and Lagos-Kano, you know that the volume of passengers you will get in a week will be above 1 billion passengers.
For the inland dry port, which is almost completed, the state governor, Abdullahi Umar Ganduje, disclosed that the state has contributed about 2.5 billion naira to ensure its speedy completion and commercialization.
By providing access road to the premises and providing also other social amenities, just to contribute to our own quota. Because that project was conceived about 20 years ago, but it never materialized until during our time.
The 3 projects, when completed, are expected to project economic development and job creation in Kano and Nigeria as a whole. Oyinaya Kalu-Oka, NTA News.
And in other news, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs has denied fake press release in circulation dated 18th February 2022 regarding travel advisory to Belarus, Poland, Slovakia, Hungary, Romania and Moldova. In a statement, the spokesperson of the ministry, Francisca Omayuli, said the document with forged reference number and signature did not emanate from the ministry. The ministry strongly condemns this mischievous act and urges the public to disregard the content of the fake press release. Furthermore, the document in circulation is not a true reflection of authorized templates of the ministry. The ministry's authorized press statements are always issued through official communication channels with the media and on the ministry's social media platforms. Now, Senate is considering a bill that seeks to establish the National Innovation Agency. The bill, sponsored by Senator Uche Ekwenife, has passed second reading. It seeks to provide a legal framework for the facilitation of development, promotion, coordination and regulation of research outputs in Nigeria.
The framework of this bill is to bring to life a body that shall be federal government agency for coordinating innovation activities as well as grow and support innovation ecosystem and entrepreneurship in Nigeria. It shall exist to promote the development of efficient and innovative Nigerian systems within thematic areas such as technology, ICT software development, nanomedicine, nanotechnology, agriculture/agribusiness.
Senate has confirmed the nomination of 5 persons for appointments as executive directors of the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority. They are Francis Ogare, Dr. Mustafa Ladmorde, Mansur Kulia, Bashir Sadiq and Dr. Zainab Gubir. As the state visit by President Muhammadu Buhari to Nasarawa State draws close, activities leading to his successful hosting have intensified. Replang.2 reports that the governor of the state, Abdullahi Sule, has been inspecting projects built to be inaugurated as well as public mobilization.
Projects include the Akuruba Power Substation, ultra-modern bus terminal, the Central Bank of Nigeria, the Federal Secretariat, among others. The governor, who is expectedly having a busy schedule ahead of the visit, says it is going to be a memorable event. So far, finishing touches are being put to most of the project as contractors have been given marching orders to meet deadline.
So far, so good in every one of them, really. Every one of them is up to the level they have informed us that they are going to meet up, including the terminal. the airport.
Meanwhile, youths in Nasarawa State are calling on everyone to come out en masse to receive the president during the visit, given the numerous projects Nasarawa has benefited from the federal government under him, as well as appointment of its indigents into various positions at the federal level.
His effort towards ensuring that the state is better organized to serve the interests of the people by embarking on projects that has direct bearing on the lives of the citizenry.
The official visit is expected to commence on Thursday, 24th of February, 2022. In Lafia, Replon Domtu, NTA News.
And a bit of politics now. The All Progressives Congress Governors Forum said it will work with relevant stakeholders within the party to ensure that they transparently deliver national executives that will earn the confidence of the party faithful. This was during the forum's meeting in Abuja. Saliu Guanara reports.
This is the second meeting of the APC governors in the year 2022. Their engagement was behind closed doors. The forum's chairman and governor of Kebbi State, Abubakar Atiku Bagudu, addressed the media at the end of the closed-door engagement.
We have discussed and reviewed the elections that took place in the FCT, the Oshun primaries, the court judgment that resolved the Kano primaries issue. We discussed a meeting we are going to have with Mr. President, further discuss on the party.
The forum also reacted to the timetable and schedule of activities by the party's CECPC ahead of its national convention.
Until we finish the meeting with Mr. President, we rather not comment on any timetabling and any logistic.
The APC governors have acknowledged the role of other stakeholders of the party and pledged to work in unity to make the APC more prosperous in the political scene. In Abuja, Saliu Guanara, NTA News.
You're watching Nationwide on NTA, and just a quick reminder that you can follow this news broadcast live on our website, nta.ng/live, YouTube, NTA News Online. You can also visit our Facebook page, NTA Network News, Twitter at NTA News Now, and Instagram, NTA Network, for updates. And it's time to join Chinyere in our Enugu Center for more reports. Hello, Chinyere.
For joining us. As part of its mandate to promote visual arts in Nigeria and encourage research in all aspects of arts, the National Gallery of Art, in collaboration with the Institute of Management and Technology, IMT Enugu, has flagged off a one-month art exhibition in Enugu. Comfort IM has details.
Not only for its landscape, from which it derives its name, Enugu State is also known for the numerous sculptural pieces and monuments that dot its major town, making the state synonymous with a robust and artistic heritage, courtesy of Institute of Management and Technology, IMT. In recognition of the creative industry in generating revenue for the government and contributing to the growth of the nation's economy, the National Gallery of Art seeks to encourage IMT, home of art and entrepreneurship, said to have produced talented and versatile artists who have enriched the nation's cultural sector.
We are here to promote those artists that have done marvelous works in the field of arts, and also to let the younger generations that are coming up to work hard.
I also enjoy you not only to appreciate the artworks on display, but to buy some for yourself and your friends.
The royal father of the day, Igwe Titus Okolo, among other relevant authorities and stakeholders, described the event as a breakthrough that will take the subsector to a greater height. With the official opening, the one-month exhibition runs 9 o'clock in the morning to 6 o'clock in the evening, and the rector says IMT is the first polytechnic to partner NGA in the Southeast. The Director General, Nigerian Television Authority, was represented by the Zonal Director, NTA Enugu Network Center.
By this exhibition, we are telling our story by ourselves. That's the message. We should have more of this.
Following the enormous benefit of artwork, the NGA wants members of the National Assembly to give the bill accelerated hearing for it to be passed into law. In Enugu, Comfort Ayim, NTA News.
The Enugu State Chairman of the All Progressives Congress, APC, Ugochukwu Agbala, says the party is now better repositioned to bring meaningful development to the state. Chief Agbala stated this while addressing party members who gathered at the Akanu International Airport to receive him after his inauguration in Abuja. James Opare-Kocha reports.
It was indeed a carnival of sorts as APC faithful in Enugu State converged at the Akanu Ibiam International Airport to receive the newly inaugurated state chairman, Ugochukwu Agbala. Addressing journalists and party supporters, Ugochukwu Agbala thanked his supporters for the show of solidarity and assured them of a new dawn in Enugu APC.
What you see here is the deepening of democracy. What you see here is a desire of the people to be part of the federal government.
Ugochukwu Agbala later in a convoy rode round the streets of Enugu to the admiration of members and loyalists of the APC. The new chairman also went to the party house to the admiration of party faithful. APC! The law convoy finally landed at Udi, the hometown of Ugochukwu Agbala. Several party leaders spoke glowingly about Ugochukwu Agbala and his leadership qualities and assured him of their unflinching support. Addressing his people, Ugochukwu Agbala said, Enugu APC is now ready to win elections in the state.
There is fear in the camp of the other people because for the past 23 years, they have been holding your voices.
Ugochukwu Agbala's return followed months of reconciliatory effort by the leadership of the party at the national level, which finally led to the inauguration in Abuja. In Enugu, James Opare-Kocha, NTA News.
That's it from Enugu Nationwide News. We continue after this commercial break.
Nationwide, the House of Representatives has urged relevant authorities in the interest of students and the education sector to take necessary steps to bring to an end the ongoing strike by the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU. In a response to a motion from Representative Dozie Nwankwo, House members advised the Ministry of Labour and Employment as well as ASU to abide by provisions of previous agreements. The disruption of academic activities, the lawmakers noted, has negative impact on the overall development of the country. The House says claims and counterclaims by concerned parties have created distrust and frustration. Members therefore appealed for genuine spirit of reconciliation for the sake of ordinary Nigerians. University of Abuja is undergoing a major restructuring to be listed as a world-class institution. Vice-Chancellor of the university, Professor Andu Rashid Nala, made this status known at a media briefing as the university prepares for its 25th and 26th convocation ceremony. Some of the policies already implemented have uplifted the university, which makes it stand out among its peers.
We're building computer, laboratories all over the place. A student does not have to have a computer to be a student in our university. You just walk into a computer laboratory, get your password, open a computer, start working, get into the internet, do whatever you have to do. Close it, and print if you want to print, scan if you want to scan. We know that we're in the electronic age, and we are definitely determined to make this university such a global university, the university of the 21st century.
Students are made to, regardless of their course study, take foreign language. The goal is to make them global citizens. Away from education, 3 states of the Northeast region are currently being earmarked for the implementation of major intervention projects under the Multi-Sectoral Crisis Recovery Project, an additional financing scheme. This came to the fore during the official launch of the project and performance assessment of previous interventions aimed at stabilizing and rebuilding the region. Abubakar Akwanga reports.
Northeast region has suffered economic and social pressure from the activities of the Boko Haram insurgents, leading to mass exodus of inhabitants and monumental damage to property. To resettle and recover greater percentage of displaced persons and wealth lost to the social unrest, a new project is being launched with additional financing assisted by the World Bank.
The Commission has been working on the Northeast Development and Stabilization Master Plan. This takes into consideration the various projects and plans already ongoing, of which the MCR fee plays a big part.
We need to continue to maintain our strategic focus on, on the activities on the ground, on being sustainable. This is why the other three countries, Niger, Chad, and Cameroon, have been looking at us and how we've been doing this.
The project aims to facilitate improved performance, not only by building back better infrastructure, but ensuring that the quality of services provided is raised.
Regional collaboration and coordination, the silting of the Lake Chad Basin, and Nigeria's strategic position in PROLAC through the new vista are some of the potent tools required for the stabilization drive in the region. Assurances here are made by frontline organizations with commitment to achieving greater results and prospects as the project set to commence in no distance time from now in states of Borno, Adamawa, and Yobe. In Abuja, Abubakar Akwanga, NTA News.
A grassroots youth coalition on peace and security are calling for the full implementation of the United Nations Security Council Resolution 2250. This, the group says, will shift the perceived position of the youth as propellers of violence to key players in conflict resolution and peace building. Abdullah Mohammed reports.
The numerical strength may be weak, but a backup by a United Nations Peace Ambassador gave them an impetus.
Create Youth Peace and Security Intervention Fund.
Their mission was to put in the right perspective the role of the youth in peace building as prescribed by the United Nations Resolution 2250. They said they have been up and doing to ensure the full implementation of the resolution in Nigeria, which is the first country in Africa to adopt the resolution.
We cannot achieve 2250 in Nigeria without the National Action Plan. We have struggled to achieve the National Action Plan. And we cannot implement the National Action Plan without a program to drive the implementation of the National Action Plan. We have already designed that.
And here they need the media to escalate the message.
I think that is the right time, all the journalists and parents of Nigeria to put hands together and call peace and justice in this country.
The United Nations Resolution 2250 recognizes the role of youth and their ability to promote peace, transform conflict, and prevent violence. In Abuja, Abdullahi Mohammed, NTA News.
Delta State may have been one of the most devastated states by 2020 floods, where several hectares of farmlands were washed away. However, the federal government agricultural inputs intervention has rekindled their hope in the agricultural production. Correspondent Ilyasu Yakuba reports that farmers in Enugu State also benefited from the agri-inputs intervention, which also resulted in bumper harvest.
The topography of Delta State, being surrounded by a river, makes it prone to incessant flooding. The federal government agricultural inputs intervention came handy for the farmers in the state. They commended the federal government for the foresight to support farmers in such difficult times. However, they appealed to the government to include fishery and livestock in the next phase of the distribution.
The support they gave to me helped me a lot.
We, the Delta people, Oshumiri North, here, we appreciate, we say thank you very much, Mr. President.
We are more into fish farming, livestock, poultry, and all that.
Similarly, farmers in Enugu State were not left out in the celebration of bumper harvest. They said the federal government agricultural input intervention is a commendable initiative.
We are so happy, honestly, because we have, as a matter of fact, lost hope about farming here.
I thank God, I thank them, I thank the federal government. Federal government try well for us because all hope has been lost.
And all this effort is geared towards promoting food security in Nigeria.
The agricultural input intervention by the federal government is a deliberate attempt to avert food crisis following the 2020 flood disaster in the country. From Enugu, Ilyasu Yakubu, NTA News.
The National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons has organized a 5-day training on fishery business development for 40 Bakassi returnees in Uyo. Joy Ubani reports that the training is aimed at making the returnees to be self-reliant.
The National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons has trained 40 Bakassi returnees on skills acquisition and empowered them to be entrepreneurs.
I have gained a lot of knowledge, not only knowledge, but a lot of experience.
Not so many things.
The government trying to give them that means of livelihood again by building their capacity.
Through the federal government giving them their starter packs to help them get into the practical, to help them do the real fishing.
I pray that the government should come in and equally help them, because the refugees here, the numbers are more than 5,000.
The Bakassi returnees in Uyo are also appealing to the federal government to provide fishing boats to aid their business in Uyo. Joy Ubani, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the federal government, in collaboration with the African Union Development Agency, is empowering smallholder farmers in Ondo State to set up efforts at enhancing capacity for food production and sufficiency in Nigeria. Olubukola Aduwo, who was at the empowerment program held in Akure, now reports.
The federal government is making deliberate efforts on the path to attaining food security in Nigeria, and one of such efforts is the empowerment of 250 smallholder farmers drawn from the 18 local government areas of Ondo State, with the aim of educating them in all agricultural value chains and segments, which include both crops and livestock, for sustainable food production.
It is a program meant for our farmers, 40% of which must be women, and I think about 30% youth, the remaining our peasant farmers.
Participants express readiness to acquire the required knowledge and technical know-how of their chosen feeds.
We ensure that all the youth that will be captured in this program, we do the follow-up and ensure that they make use of whatever given to them for the program.
If we farmer, we make use of this opportunity, the food will be sufficient for us.
The project, which spans through 10 years, targets about 8,000 smallholder farmers in the state. In Akure, Olubukola Aduwo, NTA News.
Time to head to our studio in Maiduguri, where Mohammed is standing by with some reports for us. Nice to see you, Mohammed.
Thank you, Elizabeth, for joining us in Maiduguri. Borno State Governor Babagana Umar Zulum has received report of a committee set up to conduct numeracy and literacy competency tests on primary school teachers across the state, with a call on political leaders and other stakeholders to join hands with government in the task of sanitizing education and health sectors in the state. Education Commissioner Lan Abawakilbe presented the report of the committee. Mohammed Goni reports.
The Committee on Basic Numeracy and Literacy Competency Tests for Primary School Teachers was set up in December 2021 as a follow-up to the report of the Need Assessment Committee submitted to Governor Zulum last year. The committee had engaged teachers with assessment tests conducted in January 2022 across the areas of the state. The report, which was presented by the Education Commissioner Lawan Abawakilbe, revealed that out of the 17,229 teachers across the 27 local government areas, only 5,439, representing 31.6%, proved competent to teach, while 3,815 teachers, representing 22.1%, are not competent to teach and are not trainable. 7,975 teachers, representing 46.3%, were found not fully competent but trainable, while 2,389 teachers, representing 13.9%, have been teaching without any formal qualification from any institution.
Performance per local government shows that Abuja has a total of 224 teachers only 14 are qualified, 136 need further training, 74 not qualified. Kalabange, 272 teachers, 21 competent, 133 need further training, 118 incompetent.
Professor Zulum described the findings as scary, saying the state cannot move forward unless public school systems are sanitized.
I must sanitize this system. I want to bequeath a legacy that will be beneficial to the generation yet unborn.
Despite the report, Governor Zulum assured that he will not sack the 3,815 untrainable teachers, but based on recommendations made by the committee, will consider approving their transfer to areas where they can perform other tasks, such as tree planting at the Ministry of Environment. In Maiduguri, Mohammed Goni, NTA News.
On resettlement, more than 85,000 returnees and internally displaced persons have benefited from distribution of food and cash support in a border community of Gamborungara local government area of Borno State. Borno State Governor Professor Babagana Umara Zulum, alongside Senator Kashim Shettima, undertook humanitarian responses for 2 days, supported by government officials and stakeholders from the area. Again, Mohammed Goni reports.
In the exercise that lasted for 2 days, Governor Zulum and Senator Kashim Shettima supervised and participated in the distribution of food and non-food items to a combined number of over 85,000 IDPs in camps and those resettled in communities. Each male beneficiary in the two communities of Gamboru and Ngala received a bag of 25 kilograms rice and maize, while each of the female returnee was given 5,000 naira and a wrapper. Beneficiaries were full of praises for the support which they described as timely and assured to use the intervention for the purpose intended.
Ala kuma da next time ko yedin ala shuro sami kura ma Nigeria olala mu konzura saka. Za mu kai gidan su iyali mu su ci. Tun ka mu yada iyali mu sun san cewa yau zai zo.
One of the major reasons why we came here is to see how we can stabilize the Gamborungala community. We have been witnessing gradual return of peace to Gamborungala. But one of the major constraints is that of lack of access to the agricultural land, coupled with the fact that the area is clay soil. At times they may not have the opportunity to have access to farm in an arable land. That is why we are here to distribute food and non-food items.
The governor also assured the residents that government is committed to improving the lives of the citizenry through provision of basic infrastructure, including Islamic school for adults. Another 5,560 IDPs recently resettled in Gungo town were also profiled to receive similar intervention in few days to come. Apart from humanitarian intervention, Governor Zulum also visited General Hospital Ngala town and a primary healthcare center in Gamboru town, during which he interacted with the medical doctors, nurses and other health workers, and announced that he will approve salaries that will match whatever international NGOs are given to attract doctors to operate in Ngala, and assured to address the challenges confronting them. In Maiduguri, Mohammed Goni, NTA News.
That's all from Maiduguri Network Center. It's back to Elizabeth in Abuja.
Thank you so much, Mohammed. You're still watching Nationwide. Let's take a breather. We'll be right back. Thanks for staying with us. President Muhammad Buhari has condoled with the family of late Babatunde Ogunaike, a professor of more than 25 years and Dean of Engineering at Delaware University. The president notes that Ogunaike, who contributed significantly to the lines of the national anthem, showed his patriotism and dedication to the well-being of the nation in the living words that daily reinforced the faith and spirit of Nigerians. As a scholar and administrator, the president affirms that his long hours of research spanning in 2 years enhanced knowledge and understanding, as well as prepared generations for greater works. The federal government has expressed deep shock over the death of Kenya's top envoy in Nigeria, Ambassador Wilfred Makaj, Kenya's High Commissioner to Nigeria, accredited to 12 other countries in Central and Western Africa. The Minister of Foreign Affairs, Geoffrey Oyama, said the death of the ambassador at a hospital in Abuja creates a gap in view of the expertise and dedication of the deceased to his diplomatic duties.
Totally unexpected and a big shock. and a real tragedy for us. I had met him on a number of occasions, and he was a wonderful man and a wonderful diplomat, and represented his country excellently here, and did a lot to promote and strengthen relations between Nigeria and Kenya. And so it's a big loss for Nigeria. It's a big loss for Kenya.
Pastor Makaj was appointed High Commissioner to Nigeria by President Uhuru Kenyatta in January 2018. In a bit of health, innovation, data-driven policy programs and political commitment have been identified as key drivers in Nigeria's landmark achievements in HIV and AIDS control in the past 6 years. These were highlighted in the 2015 to 2021 National HIV Response Coordination Report. Uche Ugochukwu was at the 15th anniversary of the National Agency for the Control of AIDS held in Abuja.
And humanity.
This National HIV Response Coordination Report shows the benefits of Nigeria's alignment with global partners.
To use information and to use data.
This has put the country on the right track in case identification, linkage to care, which resulted in successfully placing 1.8 million persons living with HIV on treatment, thereby achieving 95% viral load suppression.
This year, we expect a tremendous growth in our program for prevention of mother-to-child transmission of HIV as we take key steps towards ensuring no child is born HIV positive in Nigeria.
Also to make sure that we're looking for people that we think we may have left behind, or the people who may be getting unequal treatment, so we can sustain these gains.
As part of efforts to maintain progress within the target population, NACA empowered 12,000 people in 15 states in the last 6 years and also built more offices for easy access.
We want to say that the country needs a great mobilization of resources, not only
to strengthen the program overall for the benefit of our country. I call on state governments to take their rightful place in this national partnership as we develop a sustainable or sustainability framework for the national response.
Meanwhile, the agency has set aside the 2nd of February every year to reflect on its journey so far and chart a way forward towards ending HIV/AIDS by 2030. Uche Ugochukwu, NTA News.
The FCT Police Command has arrested and paraded 2 suspected interstate minor kidnappers and child traffickers who lure children with drinks and snacks to sell them for the sum of 850,000 naira in Abuja. The command's public relations officer, DSP Josephine Ade, paraded the suspects alongside 8 other suspects for various crimes at the command. Onotu Yakubu reports.
This minor, whose name and family are yet to be ascertained, and 3 others successfully reunited with their loved ones, are the few the police recovered from the suspects during their rescue operation. These 2, Ifoma Uzo, 60-year-old, and Usman Isiaka, 29, are the suspected members of the interstate syndicate who kidnapped the children from other parts of the country to be sold in the FCT in a new trend the command say is rampant. What do you do with the child?
I give it to the people that ask me to help them.
When I'm coming on the way, maybe sometime if they are crying, I'll stop on bike and buy them bobo so that I will bring it to Madam Uzo Ifoma.
How much are you paid per child?
Yeah, it's 150,000 if I bring it for her.
She have clients that are already waiting. In fact, from investigation, she is owing some clients, some children now, as it is. So the pressure on her, she's pressurizing this one, and this one now he's not picking them. He lures them with bobo.
55-year-old Lovett Onigbo and her son, Ifeanyi Stanley Onigbo, 38, were arrested by tactical and intelligence asset of the command for posing as Dangote cement distributors on the popular e-commerce application to defraud unsuspecting victims.
I don't know anything about the cement something.
A 7-man syndicate were also paraded for defrauding unsuspecting victims of assorted ATM cards at various ATM points and banks in the FCT, with 2 among the suspects alleged to have relocated from Port Harcourt to FCT to perpetrate the crime before they were arrested.
I would like distract the person when he wants to insert his card. I will touch the person, then my boss, which is Bright, he's not here. He will go out with the card.
Efforts are on to arrest the fleeing suspects in the various crimes. Onotu Yakubu, NTA News.
Similarly, the Ogun State Command of the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps arrested a 48-year-old female child trafficker and rescued 7 victims from the suspect. The State Commandant, NSCDC Kolawole Taiwo, stated this while parading the suspect in Abuja, Ogun State. Lekon Agbonde tells us more.
The suspect, the State Commandant NSCDC Kolawole Taiwo, says the suspect was arrested by men of the Human Trafficking, Irregular Migration and Gender Unit under the command. He explained that only the suspect was arrested, while 4 others who are working with her are still at large. According to him, 7 out of 13 victims who are Benin Republic nationals but without resident permit in Nigeria were rescued.
It's our candid opinion and advice to parents to be responsible and responsive to the needs and challenges of their children. No matter the number of people whom you rent or hire to care for what is yours, it cannot be like you doing it yourself.
However, the suspect denied using the victims for illicit business.
I am the only one that has the required documents to reside in Nigeria. I was told to bring them to immigration office in Benin Republic for their documents, but couldn't because they were already in Nigeria.
Since we came into Nigeria, we have been hawking and being used as housemates. Some have spent 3 years here in Nigeria, but I have only stayed 1 year and 5 months.
The State Commandant said the suspect will be handed over to the National Agency for Prohibition of Trafficking Persons and Other Related Offences, NAPTIP, for further investigation, while efforts are being intensified to arrest others who are still at large. In Abeokuta, Lekon Agbonde, NTA News.
In pursuant to carrying out periodic audit of places of detention across the country, the National Human Rights Commission has flagged off Police Station Visitors Week. Omenka Marachuku reports that this is to ensure adherence to human rights standards in places of detention.
This flag-off marks the beginning of the Police Stations Visitors Week in the Federal Capital Territory in furtherance of the Commission's mandate to carry out periodic audit of places of detention across the country towards ensuring that practices in detention facilities conform to human rights standards.
Let me also commend the police force for cooperating with the Commission towards making this project a success. And we urge the police to continue this collaboration, which is aimed at ensuring a culture of respect for human rights in Nigeria. We are not unaware of the security challenges in our dear country, and so the monitors in their training have been charged to ensure that they take adequate precaution for a hate-free exercise.
The Commissioner of Police has asked that we assure the National Human Rights Commission that your cooperation to providing credible law enforcement services to members of the public is a welcome development for us in the FCT Police Command. The Commissioner of Police has asked that we confirm to you, the management of the National Human Rights Commission, that even in the course of carrying out our law enforcement duties, the FCT Police Command carries it out with a high premium on maintenance and sustenance of the rights of accused persons or persons who engage us in the course of the administering the criminal justice system.
Data gathered during the audit exercise will be analyzed and published, as well as carry out advocacy for improvement of detention facilities across the country. In Abuja, Omenka Marchuku, NTA News.
Governor Samuel Ortom says Benue State government has deposited 5 billion naira into the coffers of the Pension Commission, PENCOM, which is 50% requirement for obtaining funds to tackle pension matters in the state. This was during his meeting with some stakeholders at the Government House, Makurdi. Charles Abba reports.
The governor expressed confidence that with the 5 billion naira deposited with the domesticated PENCOM in the state, the journey to pension problems in the state is half solved.
As I talk to you, PENCOM have over 13 trillion naira in their custody. And part of this is what we have here in Benue State under the leadership of Tenawa, which is about 5 billion naira. By the time pensioners and those that own are handed over to PENCOM, nobody will have any. As you're retiring from the service, you're not coming to government, you're not going to the ministry, you're collecting your money from PENCOM Commission.
He regretted the problems retired civil servants have been going through ab initio to access their pension, which he maintained will be ousted by the domestication of the system. In Makurdi, Charles Abba, NTA News.
Nigeria's health and energy sectors are two of the critical sectors poised to immediately benefit from the agreements reached at the 6th AU-EU Summit. Reviewing this summit on Good Morning Nigeria, Minister of Health Dr. Saige Hanire indicated that the decision to include Nigeria among the 5 countries to be assisted with the capacity to locally produce COVID-19 vaccine is significant. Ikemini Williams has more.
The 6th EU-AU Summit is considered to be a new threshold in relations between both parties. Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, Malam Garba Shehu, says the President chose to join the groups that discussed security, good governance and health, as he considered these sectors critical to Nigeria's interests.
As you all know, Europeans, they have access to our own markets, agricultural, everything. We don't have equal access. They need to bring industries here so that the skills that are flying out of our continent, they will be retained here. And there will be peace. They will also not have the kind of problems that they have. But I think that the biggest turning point is also the realization on their part that they are losing the continent to China and to Russia.
Minister of Health, Dr. Saige Hanire, says this is beneficial to Nigeria as it facilitated the inclusion of Nigeria in the group of African countries to be supported in vaccine production.
Now, the capacity to manufacture vaccines will not materialize over the next year or two at the earliest. So in between that period, you need to have vaccines to use. And also, in fact, the manufacturing capacity will not necessarily be targeted to COVID-19, because by the time you have the capacity to manufacture, there will be enough vaccines on the market, and the COVID will probably not be a front burner anymore. But again, you have the capacity to respond to any other type of vaccine requirement in the future without having to go begging in Europe or using your resources dedicated to other things to procure inexpensive vaccines.
A major highlight of the agreement reached was the decision of the EU to invest 150 billion euros in Africa.
The European Union is anxious to strengthen its relations with Africa beyond ideas to concrete action or deliverables. So this time we have a infusion of some funds, about 150 billion, which is supposed to be spread across certain sectors to address some critical needs in Africa.
Nigeria's ambassador to Belgium, Luxembourg, and European Union, Ambassador Obinna Onowu, says the structure for deploying this investment will be mutually decided. He says that a mechanism is to be set up to ensure that decisions reached at the 6th AU-EU Summit are implemented. In Abuja, Ekemini Williams, NTA News.
And before we go, let's take a message on the power of sports to the world. And that's nationwide today. Remember to always take action against rape and rapists. I'm Elizabeth Omori. Thank you so much for your time.